So in the meantime, let me allow you to speak, Brian. Good morning. How are you doing?
Doing well. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you for joining us. So this is our first event, Brian. So as you know, we are kind of learning as we go along. So
Aren't we all?
absolutely.
I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you so much. So I'm going to put you on mute. I'm going to go back to Mahmood. 1 second. Hello, Mahmood. How are you? Can you you're muted right now? Can you hear us? Okay. You're muted, Mahmood. If you want to speak, maybe he stepped away. So again, this is the first rodeo, so please bear with us. We're gathering the panelists as we speak. So far we have Dr. Malika, and she is one of our panelists, and she's also Chief Medical Officer. I see Dr. Haji joining us right now. Dr. Haji is going to be our moderator, and I see Priyanjali joining us as well. So, Dr. Haji, can you hear us? Can you speak, please? Okay, I see Priyanjali as well. Priyanjali, can you say something?
Good morning, Mr. Khan. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much.
Excellent. So we have panelists joining us as well. Dr. Haji, we cannot hear you as you're speaking, but I'm glad, Priyanjali, I can hear you speak. That's wonderful. So basically, it is going to be, myself, Priyanjali, yourself, Malika, Dr. Haji speaking today. So we're just giving us maybe a couple of minutes for more people to join us. So far we have Brian Spencer and Mahmood joining us for the webinar. Okay. Dr. Haji, can you hear us? Can you speak, please? We have trouble hearing you, Dr. Haji. I see you in the panelists.
Maybe like his mic is not activated or something.
But I'm checking his profile and I see him, and he's one of the panelists. Okay, let me try this. I'll make you co-host. Okay, Dr. Haji, maybe that will work. Can you say something now, Dr. Haji? Okay, 1 second. Participants. Okay, there you are. Can you say something, Dr. Haji? You have to unmute yourself. There you go. Okay, we can hear you still. Okay, I'm seeing 9 participants. Okay. but I can't. We can't hear you, Dr. Haji. Can you check your mic, please? All right. Let's get started because I know we are running out of time. So, Dr. Haji, can
Yeah.
you please try dialing in from your phone? Maybe that will work. In the meantime, let's get the show on the road. I know we have people waiting. Thank you for joining, everybody.
Yeah.
So essentially today we are going to do our first webinar for Supernova Academy. And as you know, some of you may have heard, we are one of the pioneering companies that offer medical education for students using immersive technologies, right? So since Dr. Haji is not able to speak, I will be the speaker and essentially talk about who's going to be part of this conversation, okay? So first of all, Dr. Haji is a moderator, but right now he's having some issues. So I'll try to moderate as much as possible. And also joining us would be some of our team members. So first of all, Dr. Haji is our Chief Medical Officer. He is basically working with Dr. Malika, who is the Chief Medical Officer, together to conduct the content, which is going to be our intellectual property, right? So basically what we're doing is we are trying to build the education platform from scratch, which means that we're building the content for the videos, the video lectures from scratch using the NIH direction, right? Joining us also is Priyanjali, who's a medical student in Kazan, Russia. So I'll let them introduce themselves. So why don't you introduce yourself, both Dr. Malika and Dr. Priyanjali. Malika first.
That's that? Okay. Hi, everyone. I wish you could see me to see the excitement on my face. So I'm an Algerian doctor, currently a general practitioner. I am a member in several medical organizations, advocating always for education and innovation. And I'm currently the ambassador of Project IMG, as well as the Chief Medical Officer of Supernova for augmented reality and virtual reality. Overall, everything that concerns what's immersive for medical education, linking between the tech side and the medical side. So it's not the most pursued path, but it's very exciting.
Thank you so much. Priyanjali?
Yes. Again, good morning, everyone. Mr. Khan, before I say, there is a message from Dr. Haji to let him in.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out myself.
All right, not a problem. Till then, I can introduce myself. Okay, so I am Priyanjali Sharma. Being Indian, I am studying MBBS from Russia. Apart from that, I am a regional manager of Europe in Supernova. Also, I have my own organization, which is called Prasha. That is a student-led non-profit organization which connects the student community, the medical student community of this, like, around the world. And currently, we are working in more than 20 countries as of now. And it's been a pleasure, and more than a pleasure, I would say it was a need for me to work with Supernova, because obviously there are a lot of challenges academically we have, which you know with 60% of them are being completely overcame by the idea of Supernova. So yeah, that's all I want to say as an introduction. It's really nice. It's a pleasure to meet you all virtually. So thank you so much for joining this meeting.
Wonderful. So with that, Dr. Haji is still having trouble joining us. I'm trying to figure out, but like I said, let's not.
Maybe you should add it among like the hosts and panelists, like you did to me.
Yeah, I did make him a host. 1 second.
Like a panelist, yeah. Because that's what happened at first, in my case.
Yeah, I made him a co-host now. So Dr. Haji, if you're listening,
Okay.
please join us to the event. Okay.
Yes, thank you. I'm joining now. Sorry
Okay.
for the technical issues, and I will be the moderator of this session, and I'm excited to start to work or to present a webinar about immersive technologies in medical education. I'm Dr. Rauf Haji. I'm assistant professor of internal medicine with over 12 years of experience in clinical practice, biomedical research, and medical education at the medical medicine faculty of SUS, Tunisia, and I'm also working in Saudi Arabia. I am also co-founder and medical lead of the International Medical Community, which is MedTech Hub. And I'm happy to join this webinar as moderator, and I'm also happy to join Supernova Academy as the Chief of Academic Officer. I will try to catch the webinar, and I will go by explaining the agenda of the event. It will be a brief. We'll start by a brief company overview of Supernova Academy. We'll discuss also the challenges of the traditional medical education, and we will try to explain how AI and artificial intelligence, artificial augmented reality and virtual reality can greatly enhance the medical education and enhance learning. We'll demonstrate. We'll share with you a brief demo of our platform. We'll explain also the success stories and real application of this technology and learner platform. And finally, we will open the session for the attendees to ask for questions, and all the panelists are happy to answer this question. Right now, I'd like to turn things over to Mr. Arfan, who will start by detailing the company overview.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Haji. So what I'm sharing right now is basically our underlying, presentation, which will guide us through the path of what we're all about. And of course, there's a Q&A section, in your screen. Please go ahead and type any questions on that. So this is basically, we're going to use this as a backdrop. But going back to Dr. Haji's comment, so essentially we are providing a structured, platform for anatomy and physiology students, built on, like I mentioned before, a content which is built by us from scratch, which comprises of video lectures, AR models, VR models, and a 3D desktop. All right. So we are the only company, I believe, that has all the 4 components. And the reason for that is, imagine yourself being a student and be able to not only read the books, but even better, going into 3-dimensional objects such as the organs and the whole anatomy by yourself, and be able to dissect the human body from anywhere in the world. And plus, you can actually collaborate with other students and peers and in real time, and be able to learn from them. So essentially, we're partnering with major organizations such as Glasgow University, with Cal Lutheran University. We are doing a project with University of California, Irvine, and we're also partnering with some of the big labels such as DevAR. All right. So unfortunately today, Anna had to take care of some urgent business. She could not join us, but she sends her regards. But she'll be with us in the future. All right, back to Dr. Haji.
Thank you very much, Mr. Arfan. First, I would like to let Dr. Malika to join us on video, because she's not cannot join by video. And my question is that, what are the challenges in traditional medical education? And as physician, and you have lived in the challenges of the traditional medical education, I would like to ask you, what are the challenges in traditional medical education, Dr. Malika?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, there are many challenges in the traditional medical education. They can be divided into 2 parts. You have the preclinical years and the clinical years. like in the preclinical years, like from first year to like third year, you have the most important like challenge is visualization and actually mentally processing what's inside an organ, and like from the student side, and trying to process and build that three-dimensional image in the student's head. It's quite very challenging from a 2D textbook. And now we have some 3D like anatomy programs developed that make you do that. But it's still like from a laptop, or you still need some kind of 2D flat screen to do it. But we try to actually take the challenge of doing more than that, because like by pulling that 3D structure from the laptop and bringing it into existence, as you might have seen in our promo video, as a result, the students is able to like enhance the experience, because they would be able to actually dive into that organ, if that's possible, and if that's visual to you. I mean, you would have to experience it to actually know that it's very beneficial, and it helps form that image, and actually knowing all the different parts, like knowing where's the posterior, where the inferior, where's the anterior, etc. And like in the clinical years, you have like the problem of cadavers. As medical knowledge starts to accumulate in the student's mind, the need to practice, like the need to practice on actual patient does too. And unfortunately, cadavers are mostly costly and limited, and require special conditions to maintain, and they're not available at all universities. So we've thought about that too and found that solution for it. It will be presented later on, but it helps you actually practice that, as mentioned, as Irfan mentioned. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Malika. I think that now it's time to see the experience of the current medical students. And Priyanjali will explain her vision and her perspective about the study of medical education and anatomy and physiology on the current situation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Haji, for this opportunity for me to speak here about the experiences, not only just mine, I think a lot of medical students out there. So currently we are living in a world where all the technologies of all the other things are very well developed, right? Now you can actually, get the cab in just 10 minutes. You don't even have to walk. But the problem now is not a lot of people are thinking about the medical students. Okay, we still have to study like 200 years ago, how they used to study by the textbooks. Okay, especially very complicated subjects like anatomy. I wish we could have something like we could just walk into the body and memorize everything. Oh, this is the heart. Oh, it has a 4 chambers, right? So it would have saved my, 6 months. I would say it would just, I would have learned it in just a month, the whole anatomy, if I could do that. Unfortunately, we cannot, right? The problem is nobody is even thinking about doing that. Like, okay, so this is the problem. And being a medical student, it's really hard to cope up with a lot of new things. Every time there's a research going on, new things are coming up, new things are adding, and it's really, really hard for us. Um, so I think, this particular idea of supernova, this vision of supernova is completely aligning to the fact where we are lacking as a medical student. Supernova is striking in that particular point where it is hurting the most for us. So it is like actually a bandage for us. And believe me, I myself have started using it before even joining the team of Supernova. I first used that, and it really, really, made me study like I want to study. I wanted to be studied. So it is not just improving my overall score in my university. But actually now I can remember, I can actually feel like that, yes, I am inside a human body now. Okay, and I can see that four chambers of the heart, where is vena cava and where is the aorta, So that experience, if we can get, uh, and it's not just about anatomy, it is about the higher subjects as well. When I am actually studying the surgical parts, and I cannot remember what does this pathological, physiological, what does it look like. So there as well, I just open the Supernova app and I just go through it. Okay, this is the normal thing now. So these are the challenges, which is being overcome by just this idea. Plus the curriculum based whole structured syllabus, I would say, that is very, very rare. I have never seen, I am fifth year student, by the way, and I have never seen such thing where I don't have to search the particular topic, because the way it is structured, I have to, it is from the very basic, from the very scratch to the very advanced. So it's like completely fits on my curriculum, and it is very much, you know, um, comfortable for me to study. Again, apart from that, I have the personalized thing, however I want to make the notes. Like, it is just the cherry on top, I get it. But I think it is very important, because everybody has a different way of studying, right? And especially studying the most is in medicine. So at least I can personalize, according to me, I can just make notes and save it for the future. Not like I missed the paper, I wrote the notes in. It is gonna be with me, I think. So this is a very different experience, from a very good to, like the best experience. That's all I think. From my side, I would say that is all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Priyanjali. I see the excitement to talk about Supernova Academy, and I understand this as I was as a student. It was very boring to study anatomy as we see, and I'm surprised that we still teach anatomy and physiology and biochemistry by the textbooks. And I'm happy that something is coming, and Supernova. I think it's creating an evolution in medical education, and it's important to center the medical education about the student. And this is what will be explained by Mr. Irfan about about the role of AI at augmented reality and virtual reality in medical education. Go ahead, Mr. Irfan.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Haji, Dr. Priyanjali. Thank you so much for that insight. We are really happy to have you, Priyanjali, and Dr. Malika as well, students, as recent graduates. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through the solution first of all and talk about that. And then I'm going to show a demonstration of the software and show you how useful it is for medical students. Okay, so I'm going to jump to the next slide here, kind of give you an idea of what I'll be talking about. Right, oops, sorry, not to the end. 1 second. All right, so the solution is basically we are offering a multitude of things. You're starting with video lectures, which is basically built from scratch using NIH guidelines. We are using virtual dissection, which has been basically unheard of in many medical communities, right? And we're also using the advanced 3D software, which I'll be demonstrating just now. And of course, we have AI-driven personalized study plans that people can use. The most important thing I like to point out is that the virtual collaboration with peers and experts, right? The reason it's important is because medical colleges, when you go to medical colleges, you learn from the professor, by the other students, but you rarely get to collaborate real time, right? So that's what we like to bring. And we like to bring in the fact that wearing a headset, for example, you can collaborate with any of the peers and experts, okay? And finally, we have basically a platform built on smart interactive quizzes that people can use and learn and be able to make them better for the exam itself, okay? So with that, I'm going to share a different screen now, and I'm going to go and talk about the elements of the software, okay? Before I do that, let me just stop sharing here. Okay, and then I'm jump to the other section. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I'm gonna go here. All right, so first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a small video, kind of shows us the different aspects of what we're all about. Okay, 1 second. All right. So the reason I'm doing this is going to give you an introduction step by step, right? So first of all, this is depicting the three components that we have in our company. And of course, I'm going to show you the fourth component with a physical demonstration, okay? So the first component is a video lecture. Let me make sure I share the sound so everybody can hear it. All right, so this is basically we're using AI to generate videos. So I'm going to play the video.
Hello, hello. Hola, hola. Привіт, привіт. Heyasu, heyasu.
All right, so basically this is it's avatar, which is basically speaking multiple languages. One of the features we offer is we can offer up to 120 languages, right? For example, if you're a person in Africa and if you only know Swahili, for example, right, you can learn the course. Okay, that's the beauty of this. Number two, we're going to show you an AR object or heart, which can be used to display using your cell phone. Okay. So as you can see, this is intuitive because as a medical student, when you're studying, you can actually project any organ in front of you, right? And look at the heart, go close to it, look at the labels, the aorta, the ventricles, the four chambers, and so on and so forth, right? And the last item here is the VR aspect. So we are using a VR software which can allow you to dissect a human body using your HTC Vive headset. Okay, so this is something that very few companies are offering right now, but again, like we are the only few companies that are doing this. But as you can see, it's very intuitive. Anybody can do this. By the way, I'm not a doctor. By the way, I have a degree in mechanical engineering. But I'm learning, right? So the human brain is very smart, as you know. So basically, the three components. So let me switch gears now to go to the other platform. I'm going to share with you just 1 second, okay? So first of all, I'm going to show you the real video. Let me go back and share my screen properly, okay? So this is the real video from the course, okay? So what we have done is broken down, Dr. Malika was very instrumental in doing this, to break down the whole medical content into sub-chapters, right? 12 systems and broken down into sub-chapters. So I'm going to show you one small glimpse of one of the chapters. Okay, so I'm going to play the video now.
Welcome to this informative presentation on the cardiovascular system. The circulatory system is important for various body functions such as moving nutrients and waste products, regulating hormones, controlling body temperature, supporting reproduction, and transporting immune cells. A healthy diet and regular exercise can help improve cardiovascular health and reduce the risk of chronic diseases. Consistently practicing these healthy habits can promote overall health.
Excellent. So that's a short video. Like I said, the objective here is that as a medical student, what you'll be doing is watching the video, and then you can switch to the other components such as the AR models or the VR models, right? So what I'm going to share with you right now is the 3D software that I'll be demonstrating the features of that software. So give me 1 second. Let me share my screen. Okay, sharing my screen right now. So this is basically the software that we're using. By the way, this was developed by Glasgow University in UK, and this was developed using real cadavers, and essentially that comprises male and female, right? So as you can see, this is very well structured. We have the systems, 12 systems on the left-hand side, and then we have the menu on the right-hand side, right? So very easy to use. So first of all, I'm going to just clearly define the systems. As medical doctors, you probably are familiar with the systems, but essentially all the way from skeletal system down to nervous system, we have everything that you can use, right? For example, I can actually select the skeletal system and isolate that. So essentially what you see here on the screen is that three buttons, right? You have fade, toggle, and isolate. So the isolate button is used for isolating a system. Okay, so I can isolate different systems. For example, I can isolate the digestive system, connective tissue, muscles, right? Cardiovascular, respiratory system, lymphatic, oops, lymphatic, endocrine, reproductive, urinary, exocrine, and nervous systems. Right. So as you can see, it's very easy to use. Right now, the beauty of this is that you can actually toggle and add more systems. For example, if I go back to skeletal system, and I want to add a cardiovascular system to that, okay, I can do that. Right. So that's the beauty. That's very easy to use. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, but I'm able to maneuver through this very, very easily. Right. And when I double click on this, right, I can really go close to that model, right, and play around with the model as I want, right? So this is the beauty of, and each of these elements are labeled. So let me put on labels, for example. So essentially, I can basically show and hide a label of any of the components. For example, this is saying zygomatic bone. I don't know what that is, but hopefully the medical people know, right? So essentially, I can click on any of these components, and it's going to show me the label. Okay. Now let's see. I want to take apart the skull at this point, right? I can actually drag an element from this, right? So I can drag this portion out or this portion out and look at it separately, right? So point is this very intuitive, very useful, and essential. So this is basically the skeletal system. So let me go back to the home position, right? So this goes back to my home position. So as you can see, the menu is very useful. So I discovered the scalpel, which is basically showing your features to hide labels or show labels, and actually drag any element from this body, right? For example, I can grab this muscle, right? So that's basically all the components here, right? Secondly, I can actually implode and explode the body. So let me go back here. I can explode the body, right? With a quick scroll through, right? I can go in and out, right? And then I can actually implode, right? As I need to, right? So basically, this explode and implode. And other thing I can do here also is that I can play around with the actual body itself by rotating any way I want, right? Like I said, double click on that, takes me close to that particular section. Okay, so let me go back here. So essentially, I covered the skeletal system, right? So as you can see, let's say if I go to a cardiovascular system, for example, right? And in this case, I'm going to isolate that, right? So I'm going to say cardiovascular system. So essentially, from here, you can actually do multiple things, right? You can actually, when studying for example, you can basically double click on this one, right? And get close to it first of all, right? And let's say that you want to know the different components of the cardiovascular system, right? So in this case, what you can do is follow along your lectures from the video lectures, or you can study notes, and you can actually grab, the heart, for example, right? So you can actually drag this element out, right? And then study that by, moving around, or basically you can hide elements from that. So for example, if I go to hide element, right, I can hide different components or the whole heart together, right? And I can go back and undo that. And essentially, so basically this is one aspect of that, right? So now let's say that if I want to take a simple case study where I'm going to study just the cardiovascular system, right? So let me go back to the home position. And now I'm going to select the cardiovascular system, right? And in this case, I want to essentially, within that, I want to look at only the arteries, okay? So I can look at the arteries by themselves. I can basically, like I said, use this feature to label anything I want, right? For example, I can click on this one and see that is a thoracic aorta, right? And I can go and click on any of these. It will show me the label for that particular item. Okay, just to give an example, right? Now let's say I want to study also the veins together, right? So I can go back and toggle and add the veins to that. Okay, now I have a full structure between the veins and the arteries, right? Again, I can do the same thing. So point is that I can take any subject, right? I can walk through step by step, make a case study out of that, or make a whole study section out of that. I can go through this and learn about different sections of the human body, all the way down to the smallest bone. Okay. So being said that, so it's a very comprehensive program. So what we're offering right now is the video lectures and the desktop software as a basic package, which you'll see on the website. And we're also offering the VR and the AR as an additional objects. Okay. With that, let me go back to my screen here, and I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, so back to Dr. Haji.
Thank you, thank you, Mr. Arfan. It's great. It's fascinating to see how Supernova Academy I see that has changed the medical education, and one of the most boring topics and subjects in the medical education is anatomy, and I see it's changing by Supernova Academy. It's becoming like game, like something that we are not just learning, we are playing with anatomy, and this is very impressive and very interactive and very engaging. And I think it's very important now to see how the future of medical education with AI, augmented reality and virtual reality. And my question is I will go back to Dr. Malika, and later with Dr. Mr. Arfan. Please, Dr. Malika.
Yeah. Hi again. Can you see me?
Yes. No, we don't see you.
Hear
but
you. Okay.
We hear you.
You don't see me. Wait.
Now.
I'll try. Oh, it can be on. Wait. Okay, so I'm just gonna.
No problem.
Okay. Yeah. For the future of medical education with AR and AI and VR, I mean, I cannot quantify how vast it can get. The scientific community has opened with its collaborations a door that leads to like endless learning, and especially innovation opportunities for professionals in the medical field and in the tech field, like we're doing now. Because, for example, we have like three sides with AI, with AR, and with VR. If we take the AI, we have the chance like to offer more personalized learning experience through bots that help in diagnosis, like diagnosing conditions, etc. Personalized how it can be like tailored to the current specialty of the medical professional instead of the main broadcast one that we usually use. Like personalized bot can be tailored to even like include just a certain specialty, because differential diagnosis might sometimes distract the doctor from thinking within their medical specialty and vice versa. I mean, it can happen as well for doctors to sometimes not think outside the box and would use an AR with broader implemented medical information, but it never kind of harm to have both options available. And like for the AR, on the other hand, as you might see on the video, it offers the chance to better the planification process. I mean, it can help you learn as well, but like for professional, it can help like to better planification process, whether to practice complex procedures or even like explaining to the patient and making them understand what's going to be done to their body, etc., and like show them what is wrong with that organ, and it would be a representation of their own organ, like educating the patient as much as possible in treatment process will help reduce their anxiety and that feel kind of being left out in the dark while all these medical professionals trying to treat them and like fix what's wrong with their body. On the other hand, it can also like anticipate the patient's healing by showing the results. And that's in both specialties like medical and surgical, not just surgical. If I show a patient what their thyroid would look like if they stick to the patient to the treatment, like I say, if you stick to your medication regularly, etc., they would be more likely to actually follow what the doctors tell them to do, because they see the results of like that vision, what it would be to them. There's like this psychology about showing a vision that makes it possible to induce hope in the patient and get them to collaborate with the doctor more efficiently. And AR is getting more and more immersive thanks to new revolutionary tools, such as like the new glasses, the Orion, the Meta glasses that allow you to view with AR. So you cannot just like use a cell phone. Now you can use glasses to actually view AR. It's kind of a headset, but like for AR, and it's lighter. So it's considered now very practical in hospitals and user-friendly. If you can like carry your stethoscope and do an auscultation, you can also like casually in the future show the interns a patient's multifaceted CT scan through rotation, during rotation, and like compared to the normal structure without actually having to walk all of the interns outside the room to the display workstation to show and display like the scan, if that makes sense. I know I'm kind of
Yes.
rushing, yeah, because it's kind of like
Thank you.
many like terms. You can just like airdrop it to the team or something. I mean, it's amazing. It's
Yes,
kind of
thank you.
it saves a lot of steps. Can I continue with
Yes.
VR, or like I talked a lot? I think I talked a
Thank you,
lot.
Dr. Thank you, Dr. Malika. I see in summary that you see that Supernova Academy platform can not only improve the medical education, but also can improve the clinical practice and the medical practice and surgeries for both the clinician and for the patient. It's it's a student-centered approach and also patient-centered approach. And I appreciate your vision, and I see that you see that that Supernova Academy can open the floor for better and for the improved interaction between physician and patient, as it has improved the interaction between academician and student. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Yes, thank you. My
Thank you.
question is also for Mr. Irfan about how he see the future of medical education with the AI, especially augmented reality and virtual reality.
Great question. So, Dr. Haji, I was actually at a webinar, not a webinar, but a conference last week. It was called Medical Innovation Forum. Okay, and essentially, what I see today is that AI is one of the biggest proponents we can use for promoting healthcare as well as anatomy and physiology. For example, I saw a company that was doing wound care, for example, where they developed this small sensor that can be put in the band-aid, right? And that can be put in the wound and will monitor the health of the wound as it heals, okay? The other company I came across was basically they're doing work on memory care, where they're using AI to generate millions and millions sets of data and essentially using that to cure Alzheimer patients. As far as the AR and VR are concerned, basically think about this, right? That's the future. And the reason I'm saying it's future is because imagine yourself sitting in your own apartment, for example, a student, for example, you can bring up any of these models in front of you and be able to interact with them. So I think the future is bright, and future is basically, I keep saying that it is not if, it's when, and the when is here.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Irfan, and thank you all. And I go to the question and Q&A and session, and I ask the attendees if they have a question to ask for our panelists, and we are open for discussion.
Yeah, so just to add to what Dr. Haji mentioned, so since we have a small group, you can if you want to speak, just raise your hand, and we can have you ask a question. If you feel comfortable, you can type your question in the question box. Either way is fine with us.
Can raise your hand or send a message on the group of attendees. Okay, thank you. I see that some questions are coming, and I think that one main question is how impactful do you think immersive learning technologies like AR and VR will be in medical education over the next few years, in the next 5 years? And anyone can answer from our panelists.
Yeah, I think I see a Brian raising his hand. Brian, go ahead and speak.
Yeah. There's someone. Yeah.
You have permission. Go ahead.
This is Brian, right?
I just had a question of
Sure.
what type of customer discovery did you guys do? Did you work with universities? Which universities? What type of problems were they having identifying the didactic gears? Or did you work with students and what problems were they expressing? And then with your solution, how are you going to improve those for either one of those customers?
Great question. So let me start with that, and then Priyanjali or Malika, you can jump in. So, Brian, we have been working with different universities. Cal Lutheran is one of them. So they have a full-blown anatomy course. So what we're doing is we're providing them just the software aspect, which is comprising the desktop software and the VR software. So in that case, what they're doing is they already have the anatomy course. They're using this as a complement. That's just one section. The other thing we're doing is we're working with UCI, University of California, Irvine, where we are helping them convert, some of the data, which is basically cancer data in CT scans and in DICOM format. We're converting that in 3D, and from that we're converting them to AR and VR. And with that, I'll let Dr. Priyanjali speak about from a student perspective.
Sure. Thank you so much, Mr. Khan. Yes, I think last year or 8 months ago, we had a survey in my organization, Prasha. So the same, like we asked them about anatomy specifically, what are the challenges they are facing while studying the anatomy. So major responses, around 87% students said that lack of interaction by the teacher. Like it's not a teacher is a problem, but it's more like it's very hard for a teacher to explain and solve all the doubts of the students in the class, because there are around 30 to 40 students in a class. Everybody is studying anatomy at once, and there are a lot of questions because it's a very complex subject, right? So a lot of people couldn't actually got their doubts solved. Secondly, adding in this problem, there was more like some students are very shy and they are introvert. They do not like to be, very outspoken in the class and all these things, and they are not comfortable in that. So they always hesitated, and the teacher could never, it was impossible for them to give them the personal time so that they can ask the doubts and after the class or something. So that was one problem. Second problem was their limited time for the cadaver, because that's how we learn anatomy. The more time we spend with the cadaver, that's how it is gonna be like. Okay, so second thing was that because the universities work usually in the morning, and they cannot give the extra access to the students whenever they want, obviously. Third problem was apart from all these, it's like in some countries it's very hard to even get the cadaveric experience because of certain religion issues, or some of their ethics and all. They do not teach in the cadaver. They just have this models, 3D models, and some models such like these, or just the videos where they just show the video and all. So it was really hard. So these were the problems what we encountered, and from the response of like around, and the participants were around 600 students from different parts of the world. These were the main common problems. And as Mr. Khan showed us in one of the slides, there were these exact same situations and solutions present for these things. So I think that was the student's perspective, if I answered your question, Mr. Brian.
Thank you. So anyone else have any questions at this point? I see more people joining us.
Can I add something?
Sure.
I think the customer discovery was when we did like the NSF I Corps program, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was that.
Absolutely.
We did,
Yeah.
we did like a program with the National Science Foundation, and they asked us like to do the same thing. And I remember like what I did was like go to medical students and let them like the experience like the AR, and all of them was like wow, because studying sometimes becomes boring, like articles, video lectures, like all that filling your brain with information. So like
Great.
gamifying it somehow and having like adults having fun, like really something, and actually like not really like a game, but like also learning and being it scientific was actually like very interesting to them, and they hoped to see like labs in the universities in the future that actually offer that. Like you have a section in the lab where you can just like do everything that concerns that.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to add something because as assistant professor, I see that the Supernova Academy is not opportunity only for the students. And I need to highlight this because I think that it gives us opportunity for all the medical students to go back to study their anatomy by a new manner. And I think even the surgeon and the resident, they can learn via Supernova Academy. And it's important that all the healthcare professional, medical students, pharmacy students, dentistry students, they can take profit from the innovation of Supernova Academy. It's really innovative, and I think it changed our perspective as professors or as students about the anatomy, mainly because I think anatomy is one of the most boring subject in the medical education, and I see that it can be the step forward to have excellent physicians in the future and excellent healthcare professional in the future. And I think it's a game changing in the healthcare landscape. And I see that the future is open for Supernova Academy because of its innovation and because it's filling a big gap in medical education. Whatever the curriculum, wherever the country you are studying medicine, you have always studying the medicine, as said, as it was said before, like it's 200 years ago, and this is very sad. And we see something that changing the vision of medical education, and I see that we are going forward very well.
Perfect. So I see a question in the chat box from Rama about the benefits to the students, right? So Rama, what we're doing is, first of all, we are actually, working with the students, and one of the things that we're offering is a free 7-day trial. And if you're interested, send us an email. And we're also making our pricing very competitive. Basically, to be in the global market, when you go to the website, you'll see that you have the complete package for students. Right now, if you're interested in becoming more involved, we like to hear from you and be, like I said, you can be an ambassador for us. You can be our messenger to your organization. So we like to work with anybody in the world, pretty much, right? We're a global company. And thanks to Dr. Priyanjali, she is in Russia right now. She's basically spearheading the whole conversation. So if you're part of our group, please reach out to her as well. But regardless, send an email to actually, let me just go back here and show that, let me put the email address here, and you can send us an email at that, and essentially we can answer the question. Do you have any specific questions, Rama, that belong beyond this, beyond the question that you have about benefits? You can raise your hand. Okay, if I answered your question, let's move on to anybody else who wants to ask a question. I see Carla joining us. Thank you, Carla, for joining us. I see Jane joining us. Jane has been a very strong proponent for us. And essentially, she basically, has another organization that potential collaboration with her as well. So Jane is saying hi to everybody. So essentially, so Yeah, so if you want to ask a question, Jane, you raise your hand, I can unmute you.
Hi, how are you? So
Good.
I'm Dr. Jane. I'm working on the microbiology component. So I absolutely love what this company is doing for the integration of the AI, the XR, and the VR, because that's something that I find that some of the medical immersive technologies, they only focus on one, where I think it's so incredibly important to have options. And that's like moving forward, is that different contests, different schools are going to be using different technologies. So I'm hoping to partner with this company. We're developing 3D models for the microbiology. So just taking the anatomy and going one step forward. So I don't have a question. I just thank you for the great presentation.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. And Dr. Jane, like I said, she has a full-blown spectrum in microbiology, and like I said, we can really use her technology in our portfolio as well, right? So Brian, thank you for joining us. I see a question, so we'll send you the question and answer the question and either live or send it to you by email. Brian, thank you so much for joining us. Anybody else have any questions? Carle, I think we talked yesterday. Let me unmute you so that you can talk if you want to.
Yeah.
Carle, can you hear us? If not, anybody else have any questions? I see Ezadine. All right. So if you do have any questions, yeah, please feel free to email us. And we'll send up the recording. Once the recording's done, we'll be putting this on YouTube and sending to everybody who joined the today's conversation. Of course, this is just the beginning, like I mentioned before. Think of this as a snowstorm, or actually snowball, I should say. A snowball when it starts with a small size, right? But right now we're gaining traction as you go along. So pretty soon will be a huge snowball. Okay. So I'm not sure if that's good or bad, but that's what we're heading. And thanks to people like Dr. Haji, Malika, she is our Algeria, Priyanjali, she is in Russia. So we have a full spectrum, throughout the world, right? So we like you to support us. I know we have some technical challenges, but like I said, this is the first time for us, and next time will be, hopefully will be, trouble free. But thank you so much.
I would remind to the attendees to send us their feedback about the presentation and about the platform when they check it. And I think it's very exciting to see what Supernova Academy is doing. And thank you all for your attention, and thank you for being joining us.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we forgot the poll. That's fine.
Yeah, it's okay.
Right. So, all right. Thank you so much.